Hello everyone! Today we will do a quick objects and classes exercise where we will practice everything we've learned in previous tutorials, and we will also talk about inheritance, about private class members, and I'll even share some tips on how you can avoid repetition. So are you ready? Let's roll! And we will begin by creating a new class which we will call guitar. And just like any other class, it will have an init method which takes in the self parameter. Now, the init method is where we initialize some important information about our class. So let's say we'd like to specify how many strings our guitar has. To do this, we will type self.n_strings, and we will assign it to 6. Now, what we have just created here is called an attribute, which represents a piece of information that somehow relates to our guitar class. We can then access these attributes from outside of our class definition. And in order to do this, we will first need to generate a guitar object. We will do this with guitar and an empty set of round brackets. We can now assign this object to my_guitar, and then right below, we can simply print myguitar.n_strings, and hopefully we will get 6. Now let's save everything and let's give it a run. And perfect, we are now accessing one of our attributes. But classes are not just about data. They also deal with functionality. So in addition to attributes, we also have methods. Now, in order to define a new method, we will first use the def keyword, followed by the name of the method, which in my case will be play. And in order to officially turn it into a method, we will need to pass the self parameter into it. If we do not pass this self parameter here, if we just leave it like that, we are actually creating a function, not a method. That's why the self parameter is very important. And I'll show you the difference quickly inside a comment. So whenever we call a function, we simply specify the function name, play. But whenever we call a method, we first call an object name, followed by a dot, and then the method name, so dot play. Okay, so we call the method on something, while the function is quite lone standing. That's the main difference. Now let's go ahead and move on. And what I'd like this method to do is I would like it to print some kind of a melody. So in my case, we will print pum 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 pum, which I'm sure everybody's familiar with. We can now save this file and let's give it a run. Yeah, nothing changed. We're still printing 6. And the reason why nothing changed is because we haven't officially called the play method. Now we can do this in several ways. So first of all, we can call this method on the object itself. So we will type myguitar.play. Okay, let's save this code, and now it should work. Beautiful. We can clearly see that this is the House of the Rising Sun playing here, given all these pum-pum-pums, but there's another way. Let's get rid of this line of code, and let's call our play method on the class itself. So inside our init method, we will add an additional line of self.play. Okay, let's save everything and let's see if it gives us the same result. And there you go. It's the exact same melody playing. Even though we haven't called it on the object, we called it within the class. Now what happens here is that the init method is being automatically called every time we create a new object, which is really, really handy to know. Now, this pretty much covers everything we've learned in the previous tutorial. So if there's anything that you didn't understand, please check out my objects and classes for beginners video. And now let's go ahead and move on with inheritance. So let's say we have a guitar store, and we'd like to keep track of all the different guitar models we have in stock. Some of them are electric, some of them are acoustic, classic, and so on. Now, one solution is to copy this entire guitar class, paste it below, adjust guitar to electric guitar, and then we can add a new attribute of self.isDistortion, and we will set it to true. But this seems highly inefficient. Just because of this tiny line of code, we are repeating 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them. No. There must be a better solution. So how about this? What if we take our existing class and we use all of its attributes and methods to generate a new class? So for example, let's say our new class is called electric guitar once again. But instead of copying the entire code content of our guitar class, we will simply pass it into our new class. Now, what we have done here is called inheritance. We took all the data and all the functionality of what we call a parent class, as in our guitar, and we have passed it into a child class of electric guitar. Just like a family tree relationship. A child is taking DNA from their parents and, so on. So let's check if it worked. We can then add the pass statement underneath our class definition. And this is what you do when you don't want to make any changes to the class. So if you'd like your parent class and your child class to be 100% match, you simply type the pass statement and you got it. Okay? And then right below, instead of assigning my guitar to guitar, we will assign it to electric guitar. And then just in case, we will also check if we can access the nStrings attribute of our parent class. And yeah, let's give it a run. Aha! So not only we can access the nStrings attribute of our parent class, but we can also access its play method. Okay, but what if we'd like to add some new methods to our child class? Let's say we'd like it to play our melody just a tiny bit louder. And we can do this very easily. As usual, we will type def play louder, to which we will pass the self parameter. And then we can go ahead and copy the print statement from our parent class, and we'll slightly adjust it. So at the end of the string, we will add a dot upper method, which will convert this entire pum 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 sentence into uppercase letters. Awesome. And then at the bottom of our code, we will type my guitar.play louder this time. Let's save it. Let's have a look. Boom! There you go. But that was easy. But what if we'd like to replace some attributes? So for example, let's say that our electric guitar just happens to have 8 strings. Now we don't really want to change it in the parent class because most guitars do not have 8 strings. So we want this change to only affect the child class. And the way to do this is to first access the init method of the child class with def init, passing the self parameter into it. But here's a problem. Since our child class inherited all of its attributes from the parent class, we will also need access to the init method of the parent. And this is where the super function comes in, and I'm sure you've seen it a lot. So we will type super with an empty set of round brackets followed by a dot init. With another set of empty round brackets, we do not pass the self parameter here, only in the above line of code. So once we have access, we can then replace our attribute as follows. So self and strings, we can reassign it to 8. That's it. Now let's go ahead and double check that everything worked. We will first print child class, to which we will concatenate my guitar.nStrings, and then below it we will print parent class, and we will concatenate guitar, an empty set of round brackets followed by a dot and strings. Okay, let's have a look. Boom! Amazing! So our child class has 8 strings, while our parent class still remains with 6 of them. Now, in addition to reassigning attributes in the child class, we can also add new attributes. And as you may guess, we will do this with self, then the attribute name, color, and we will set it to a tuple of black and white. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Perfect. But what if we'd like to store some confidential information? Let's say we'd like to include the cost of this guitar, as in how much this guitar cost to the store owner. So let's say I'm charging my customers $500 for this guitar, while what I actually paid for it, given by self.cost, is only $50. And I don't want anybody to know this. I would really appreciate it if this information is kept a secret. Now, one solution which you may find online is converting this cost attribute into something called a private member. Makes a lot of sense, right? We can, of course, do this quite easily. We will simply add 2 underscores in front of the attribute name, so underscore underscore cost. And then if we try to access this attribute in the exact same way we've been accessing the previous ones, we'll print my guitar dot underscore underscore cost, save everything, let's give it a run. We are getting a nasty error saying that there is no such attribute underscore underscore cost, even though we can clearly see it's here. Okay, so does it mean that our cost is private? I really wish it did. I really wish. I'm gonna show you how you can easily access it anyways, okay? So if we add an underscore followed by the name of the class, which in our case is electric guitar, and then we add underscore underscore cost, our cost then is no longer private. Okay, but what if we try to hide it somewhere? Okay, let's copy this cost attribute and let's try to hide it in the parent function. That might do the trick, no? That might probably solve it. So let's fix the indentation. Let's save everything and let's rerun our code. And there you go. It looks like it worked. So we have this attribute error and it looks like everything is rainbows and butterflies, no? No, because if we delete electric and we only leave guitar inside our print statement, which is a perfect match to the parent class, okay, to this one, now we rerun the code and we once again reveal the cost. Conclusion, what we call private members in Python has nothing to do with actual privacy. We're just being polite here. It doesn't mean these members are private. Yeah, it's relevant for other programming languages, for example, C++, but if we try to do this with Python, it's a recipe for disaster. And even though the previous examples are quite a deal breaker, we can also create some private methods. And the way to do this is to type def underscore underscore secret, which is the name of our private method, well, supposedly private method, I should call it, and we will pass the self parameter into it. And then right below, I would like to print this guitar actually cost me a dollar symbol, to which we will concatenate a private member from the parent class, which has a special way of doing this. So we are targeting the self dot underscore underscore cost attribute. Okay, so we will type self dot underscore guitar, which is the name of the class, followed by underscore underscore cost, which is the name of the private member. That's it. Now let's go ahead and concatenate the rest of the sentence, which is probably only, and an exclamation point. Yeah, that's it. And then instead of printing, we will type my guitar dot underscore electric guitar underscore underscore secret and an empty set of round brackets. Let's save everything. Let's have a look. Beautiful. We are revealing our secret once again. Now let's finish this exercise with a very handy tip. Let's say that now we are dealing with a bass guitar, which in most cases has only 4 strings. So we will then create a new class called bass guitar, and we will inherit all the qualities of our guitar class. And let's say that the only attribute we would like to change is the number of strings. So do we really need to repeat these 3 lines of code time and again? No. So let's go back to our parent class and let's do the following. So what if instead of hard coding 6, we will collect the number of strings as a parameter? So in addition to our self parameter, we will also collect n underscore strings. And then instead of assigning self.n strings to 6, we will assign it to n strings. Now, there's just a single problem with this entire syntax. Every time we create a new object, we will need to specify the number of strings. And in most cases, it's going to be 6. So do we need to repeat it? No. We can simply set a default value to our n strings parameter. So we'll add n equals 6 to the end of the parameter, and that's it. So if we specify a value, that will be applied on self and strings. But if we do not specify a value, this will always be 6. And then we can simply add the pass statement to our bass guitar class. And at the very bottom of the code, we will print bass guitar, which takes in 4, and we will try to see if our n strings attribute returns 4 as well. So let's save it. Let's have a look. And boom! There you go. It returns 4. So now let's try to adjust our electric guitar class as well. So instead of having this self.n strings equals 8 line of code, we will copy n strings equals 8, we'll get rid of self, and we will pass it to our super init method. That's it. If we'd like to verify that everything worked, we will do the following. So we'll type my bass guitar has blah 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 strings, and my electric guitar has my guitar dot n underscore strings. Cool. Let's verify everything. And there you go, guys. Good job. Now you know how to handle all kinds of situations that relate to classes. But if you need to practice a bit more, I highly encourage you to check out my Forests of Objects tutorial. It will give you a very visual example of how handy classes and objects are, so definitely give it a try. Now, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and if you did, please share it with the world. If you have anything to say, please leave me a comment. If you'd like to be extra awesome, you can always leave me a like, you can subscribe to my channel, and turn on the notification bell. I'll see you guys very soon in a brand new tutorial, so bye bye for now.